Alright guys, this one's going to be doing a review today. This one's going to be doing a review for the Walking Dead universe. And in today's video, we're going to be doing another Q&A video for the Walking Dead franchise. Of course, like to do these at least once every week or two, roughly. You guys left some more Q&A comments, so definitely want to go through them. And I am very excited to do this one because this will probably be our last Walking Dead Q&A for the year. Yeah, well, I'll probably do one more. So yeah, probably like second last Q&A. So if you have any more, of course, leave them down below. I'll be using them for the next Q&A video, of course. But without further ado, let's get into this. So, starting off with IX, who says that, Dan, when do you think, in your mind, that you think Rick Grimes' character will come back in the franchise? Do you think that Rick will come back, or do you think it's just, done? I think that's probably the biggest question any Walking Dead fan has in the world right now. Will we see Rick return to the brand? Because, like, I've actually heard that from people, too, is that, like, Denai Guerrera is very busy. Denai Guerrera has a lot going on. So a lot of people think that Michonne could be wrapped up. I'm honestly fine if she is. I don't need more Michonne. I really don't. Her ending is perfectly fine. She's with her kids. I don't need Michonne back in the franchise. I really don't. Denai can go and, do whatever she wants, really, at this point, I'd say. Not that I don't like Michonne. I'm just saying that, I think her character's wrapped up. With Rick, it's different because Rick has a reunion with Daryl to get to. Rick has a reunion with Morgan to get to. Rick has a lot of things that we need to see. And he's the lead of the franchise. He's the guy that started this whole thing. So I would expect Rick to be there when Daryl gets home and when, Morgan eventually finds Alexandria. I don't know why it's taking him so long, but, it is. So, I don't know. Did Morgan forget his way around? Like, I don't know. But I'll say one thing. I am very curious to know if Rick will be ever back in the franchise, because I think that's an even bigger question. Will he be back in the franchise? You know what I'm saying? Well, there's no confirmed evidence that he will be back. It's just small talk right now. As we know, 2025 has nothing to do with him at all. Like, there's Dead City, Season 2, that has nothing to do with Rick, and Daryl Dixon Season 3 has definitely nothing to do with Rick. The closest thing we'll probably get to Rick next year is potentially Jeffrey Grimes, his brother, in Spain, which you guys know how I feel about that. I hope that doesn't even happen. That's gimmicky as all hell right there. But I'll tell you what, I think that Rick will be back in the franchise in the matter of a few more years. I feel like they're going to drag this out. When the spinoffs end is my main answer. When the spinoff ends, the Daryl spinoff ends, I think that's when they'll bring him back for a reunion. Is when the spinoff ends. I don't know what'll end first, if Dead City will end first, or if Daryl will end first, or, vice versa, but I'll say this, I think by the time that the Daryl show comes to an end, which is going to be a good few years from now, based off what we already know, that's when we'll get Rick and Daryl back together, which sucks. That absolutely sucks. We're going to have to wait like 4, 5, 6, 7 years for all we know to get this reunion. It's going to be a while. But that is when I think Rick will return in the franchise. And then after that, I feel like they'll do one big final thing with Rick and Daryl and, everybody, together, which is that crossover that they've been talking about. I don't know if they'll still do it by then because the actors are going to be old. It's why I'm telling Gimple to hurry the hell up and do it already, but obviously I'm not the chief content officer he is, so we'll see what he has up his sleeve, but I'm not looking forward to it because I don't like the idea of Rick and Daryl having a reunion in their 60s, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's looking like that's exactly what's going to happen, you know what I'm saying? So, man, disappointment, man, constant disappointment. But anyway, next one comes from Gail, who says that, Dan, do you think that Dwight and Sherry could appear in Dead City Season 2, maybe Season 3? I definitely don't think it's going to be Season 2. No, I really don't. I feel like we would have heard about that, like, on set, filming information about them and stuff. It absolutely, to me, though, is like a golden opportunity, and I'd even argue a missed opportunity if you don't put them in Dead City, because here's the thing. In the Season 1 finale of Dead City, we had Croat that mentioned that he went back to the Sanctuary and it was absolutely trashed, which I find a little scary considering that, like, 5, 6, 7 years in the timeline beforehand, of course. I don't know how far back because Dead City's way further ahead in the timeline, but we know that Dwight and Sherry were going to go back to the Sanctuary and fix the whole thing up, turn it into an actual, like, active community, you know what I'm saying? So to me, it feels like Dwight and Sherry kind of have to be in Dead City at one point. It just doesn't feel right. I mean, Dead City is really savior focused. Like, Croat, we saw Simon, we saw all these things. Negan's going back to his old savior ways, in season 2, and there's remnants of, that storyline around all the time. You got Maggie there, of course. It just feels like it's the most obvious place to put Dwight and Sherry back in the franchise. And thing is, I'm sure Austin and Christine would want to do it. I haven't heard anything about them, but I did hear that Christina said that she wanted to do more, that she would, she would have done more if the opportunity presented itself. So, in my opinion, I don't even think it's a question. If you can get both actors, if you can get them both in the role, I say it's an absolute easy addition, and I would love to see what they would do with a Negan and Dwight interaction. You know what I'm saying? And at least if I was the writer for Dead City, you guys know what I would do. I would do a opening scene like you did with Simon, right? In season 1, except this time, Dwight is in the current day. He's in the current day, and we have a big scene with him and Negan, when he finds him after all these years. But the opening scene of whatever episode that would be a flashback of Dwight getting his face burnt while Negan stands around him with a bunch of his saviors. And you'll have Sherry sitting there, being held back as she's sitting there crying, watching Dwight getting his face ironed. And then while you've got Dwight that's sitting there with his face burnt like hell, screaming like hell, he passes out from it. And then Sherry makes the offer to Negan that, she'll marry him, you know what I'm saying? That right there should be a flashback. And then you see them now. You see Dwight and Sherry now interacting with an older Negan, and it's just you son of a bitch. I'm telling you, here's the thing. A lot of people get annoyed with Maggie, right? They get annoyed that Maggie is such a forefront, you know what I'm saying? And she's always the one coming after Negan. And people are getting kind of sick and tired of Maggie trying to kill Negan. I could see that. They've definitely dragged that storyline on for a little bit. One thing I would not get upset with is if Sherry and Dwight got their hands on Negan. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't want Negan dead because I don't want them to kill his character off. But I'll say this, I wouldn't blame them for beating the shit out of him. I wouldn't. I absolutely wouldn't. Negan did some horrible stuff to them, and they didn't ask for any of this. You know what I'm saying? So I would say Dwight and Sherry are even more tragic than Maggie in some areas. Honestly, I don't know. Seeing, what happened to, Sherry's sister when they tried to escape, burning Dwight's face, Negan having sex with Sherry while Dwight just has to sit there and be a fucking trooper. Yeah, no. I would absolutely say that they need to be in Dead City. I think that's that last piece of Negan's redemption story that needs to be settled, and we need to see something from it. So, all that to say, please, dear God, do it. Honestly, if there's any chance that Eli Journe sees these videos, I doubt it, but if he does, buddy, seriously, that would make for an insane plot for a season. You got an entire season plotted right in front of you right there. So, I think that'd be incredible. Obviously, you'll have to ask stubborn Gimple if he can let these fucking franchise characters back in the fucking franchise, because Gimple doesn't want to do anything these days. But I'd say that would be cool. That'd be really cool. I'm just saying, that would pull a lot of interest for season 3. I think it would. So I don't know. It's an idea. Next one comes from Pure, who says that, Dan, I have watched all the Walking Dead universe spinoffs, Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, World Beyond, Daryl Dixon, etc., and I can still not find what the fuck happened to Rick and Jadis, or the garbage lady, as they put it. Do you know anything about that? Well, that's what I'm here for. It is my pleasure to tell you that there is an entire series focused on Rick and Michonne. It's called The Ones Who Live. It's a 6-episode limited event, so don't get too excited. They don't continue it much further, but you do have a continuation of their story, so there you go. I like to be able to do that. That's why I do these videos sometimes. Sometimes there's stuff that people don't know, and they come to me and ask me, and well, there you go. That right there is probably pretty exciting for you. There is a Rick and Michonne spinoff called The Ones Who Live. Again, it's not multi-seasons, but it's one season, and at the moment, at least in the franchise, it's the wrap-up of their story. So do of that, what you will, but yeah, pretty cool. We all asked those questions for many years. We finally have the answer to those questions, and now we have more questions. You know what I'm saying? There's just not enough. There's not enough resolution with this franchise. There's always questions. But keeps you on the edge of your seat, I guess. So there you go. And then finally, 1V says that, Dan, how would things be different if Shane was in the franchise right now? He'd be a crazy son of a bitch. That's what he'd be. Holy shit. I think he'd probably have the highest kill counts. I think he would. He'd be like like Dexter Morgan. I swear to God, like there'd be a kill of the week with him. Like, you know, like straight up. Like Shane would be crazy. Like I think he'd turn into a villain though. I think he'd turn into a problem. Thing is, I don't know if anybody'd be strong enough to take him out. You know what I'm saying? Like unless it was somebody really close to him, you know, like I don't know if anybody would be able to deal with him. Like I feel like he'd be an absolute unit by this point in the apocalypse. It'd be insane. So yeah, no, Shane. Man, I miss Shane. I mean, I love his story. I love the way it ended, but John Bernthal being in the franchise, man, was so good. And I did enjoy seeing him back for Rick's final episode. I feel like that'll be the last time we see him, but it was fantastic. So anyway, great comments, great questions from you guys. Thank you all, of course, for participating. More, you can leave them down below, of course, because next week we'll do another one. A week from today, it is Christmas Day, so it definitely won't be a week from now, but probably once the holidays kind of simmer, we'll do another one. We'll be back for another Q&A video. So that's my promise to y'all. But anyway, thank you all for watching. If you're new to the channel and you enjoy videos like this, make sure to click the subscribe button to miss any other videos of The Walking Dead. Be sure to follow me on Dan's Views Official on Instagram, guys. And of course, I'll see you guys way soon for more videos of The Walking Dead universe. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.
Born in the dark alleys, city of concrete. Dan's reviews blowing up, never taste defeat. Walking Dead dissected every plot twist beat. World gone mad, TV junkies hit a treat. Typing up scripts, marathon through the night. His opinions hit harder than a street fight scene. Every episode, brain sharper than a knife. He's the beacon of critique, shedding TV light.